Hey guys, so this video has been long overdue. This is about my casting call. I mentioned it's been almost a year, not quite, because I was super excited and I just felt really amped up and I was talked up and I was just really excited, and I wanted to share that with you guys, that something was kind of in the works. I've had a lot of people since then ask me about it and I haven't talked about it, and I kind of want to explain everything, that how I was contacted. I'm going to read you messages, just everything. I am going to bleep out any personal information on their end and my end, and I'm just going to kind of talk about the whole situation because so many people have asked me about it. So let's just get to it. Over here, I have my laptop. So if I'm looking over here, that is what I'm looking at. I'm looking at the messages. So I get a lot of messages on my personal Facebook, and I try not to reply to any of those because it is my personal Facebook. And a lot of the time, I don't even read the messages on there. But I think this very day, I decided to read some. And this is the message that I received. Hey Amberlynn, I'm trying to get caught up on your videos as fast as I can, but I am reaching out to see if you have ever had any interest in weight loss surgery. I am a casting director working with TLC on a spinoff of 600 Pound Life that would take place in the South with Dr. Proctor in Atlanta. He's the weight loss specialist that works with our families on Family by the Ton. Let me know if you have any interest in sharing your story. Thanks a ton. Best. She says her name, gives me her number, and gives me her email address. So I get things like this a lot. I have actually been contacted quite a few times for shows ever since this. I think it's just because, I am a bigger girl. I am putting myself on YouTube, and it's easy for, casting people, producers, whatever, to find individuals when they're already putting themselves out there. So I feel like I'm an easy target. But this was actually one of the first times that I ever had someone message me like this. So I was pretty pumped. I was like, my response was, can you tell me more about the casting process and everything? So before I actually sent that, I actually went and stalked her Facebook page because I wasn't sure if this was a joke or something, but it was real. So that's why I sent that message. So she replied back just saying, I want to get you on FaceTime or Skype so we can do a little Q&A sesh. She said that the FaceTime call or the Skype call will only take 10 minutes. So I was super scared. I remember this day perfectly, but I just replied with, what's the show exactly though? Because I was she hadn't really told me much information on that yet. She replied with, it's following you as you lose weight through the supervision of a medical doctor. I think the format will be following a few people, and you would be compensated in appearance fee basically for anything it would cost for medical. If you're even slightly interested, I can always grab you for the interview to just even start the process. No commitment from you until you would be selected. I actually didn't reply to that message. For some reason, I was like, this is too good to be true. So she hit me up the next day and said, hey lady, sorry to bug. Just on a time crunch. Any interest in just hopping on a call /FaceTime/Skype? I think your personality would make you a great candidate for what we're looking for. Would hate for you to miss our submission deadline. Thanks. And I said, what kind of questions would you be asking? For some reason, I'm just an anxious little puppy. And I was just I wanted to know more before she got me on FaceTime. She said, just about your story, how much you want to lose, what you have tried, what you love in life, what you would do if you reached your goal, who your supporters are, etc. I said, I have a huge following on YouTube and I've had fake accounts try to lure me into things like this. I just want to make sure this is legit, but I am interested. I wanted to be honest. So this is when she sent me her actual personal true info, sent me to this link to show me her casting experience and all this stuff. And so I clicked it all and I said, thank you for that. Okay, so if I was chosen, would I have to move to Atlanta? Would I have to pay for surgery, etc.? That was important for me to know because it's like, why am I going to go through all of this? You know, I know it's just an interview, but it's like, why would I want to go through the interview and a chance that I would be chosen if, you know, there's certain things about it that I wouldn't like, you know? She said, so we would bring you to Atlanta for medical stuff. You wouldn't come out of pocket for anything. Is your medical insurance private or through Medicaid? And I explained I didn't have insurance and I asked if that was a problem. And she said, no, it wasn't, because the appearance fee would be them paying for my everything medical. And I was like, okay, that's pretty cool. So I finally just asked her, when can we do the interview? And she was like, now, ? And I asked her if it was going to be recorded because I had a feeling that it would be for some reason. And she said, yes. I record them, then we cut them down into like 3 minutes. No one sees it other than my team and the folks at TLC. You should not be. You're a social media master. It's really just a fun combo, not a job interview. Before she called me, she had me send her all of my info, like my phone number, my email, my Instagram, all that type of stuff. And then she had me send her a bunch of photos of, you know, me and Becky together, photos of just me kind of looking big, photos with me and my fur babies, because she was going to take those photos, also use the FaceTime call and create like a little mini video for the people who are doing the show so I could be one of the candidates. She also told me before I sent her the photos, she's like, this sounds awful, but make them look as unflattering as possible. Strengthens your case. And I totally understood that. So I had a lot of pictures that I could send her. So I sent her a ton of photos. So I ended up doing the FaceTime call and we were actually on there for like 30 minutes and she had already said that it was only going to be 10. So it was just like, everything was so good, so smooth. And she told me, like, when she asked me a question, to answer it as if I wasn't asked. Like, example, if she asked me, why do you want to lose weight? I wasn't just supposed to answer. I was supposed to say, I want to lose weight because, or if she asked, you know, what is your weight? I couldn't just say a number. I had to say, I weigh, you know, like that. So because her parts were going to be cut off and it was almost as if I was just like talking. So it was actually the next day and I said, so how long before I hear back about anything? Just curious because, you know, I'm anxious. I get kind of impatient. I become overwhelmed. And she said, hi, typically we'll have another 2 weeks of editing and any additional submissions. Then we pray network gets back ASAP. And then she said, but one of my team members said, quote, I want her to get skinny so she can prove all those mean a-holes wrong after she stalked your YouTube. They all really love you. So when I saw that, I was like, okay. That made me feel really good. And I said, oh, that's amazing. That makes me really happy. So it's a network that chooses who they want on the show. Like, what's the next step? She said, TLC will get the edit we send in. They will give us feedback after they get everyone in. I'm pretty sure this show would follow a few people going through the process. If selected, TLC will get back to us, and then we will meet with you over the phone or Skype to discuss the filming. So I was like, okay. It was 10 days later, and I said, any news? And she said, still waiting. Still waiting on TLC. Everyone loves you, so let's just say they hope they get their A in gear soon. And I was like, okay. It was 2 weeks later, and she sent me a message. She said, TLC is still on hold, but I was asked to send on your info to our EP to the other show. And I was like, other show? I said, what's that? She said, our executive producer on Family by the Ton is heading up this new show, so she should have some more info from TLC soon. And I just said, okay. That was the last I heard from her until I messaged her 2 months later. I said, I haven't heard back from you. She said, hey, so they were holding on that project for a few moments, but we still have your info and we still love you. So you know we'll be submitting you any chance we get for our similar opportunities. A few days later, she asked, we are now looking for families again. Is anyone in your family also in the same place? And I said no, because I am the only person this big. So she started talking about Family by the Ton, and I kind of checked out at this point because I have been contacted by Family by the Ton a few times, and I don't really, I kind of have realized it's a long process. I'm a very impatient person, and I was willing to at least kind of try, because she said, if you can come up with a cousin, we'd love to submit you. Was talking to my team yesterday about how we really loved you. And I said, my girlfriend's overweight, but that's all I've got. And she said, how overweight? And I said, Becky's weight. And she said, let me check what's your current weight. And then I told her my current weight, and she never replied. So this was about 8 months ago. So it's been a while, and we haven't had any communication since then. But since then, I have been contacted, like I said, by a few other people who want me to do Family by the Ton. I got an email from 600 Pound Life. I couldn't tell if it was real or not. So I try to ignore a lot of them. My whole thing is, would I go on 600 Pound Life? Yes. I feel like I would. I honestly legit feel like I would, because I feel like Dr. Now is honestly, he knows what he is doing. He is so smart. He is a smart man. He has never failed anyone during surgery. I think that's like something that really terrifies me because I'm so big. I feel like he gives really good advice, and he's not mean, but he's very just like stern in his words, and that's what I look for in a weight loss doctor. But that's everything, you guys. Literally, the casting thing, it was like super hot and heavy in the beginning, and it just like fizzled out, and I kind of just I was, you guys ever have that feeling where you're super looking forward to something and you're like anxious for it, and then it just like doesn't happen, and you kind of like, you might be kind of embarrassed about it if you like told other people, or you're let down, you know, little things like that. So that's why I just, if I get people who are like, because I've also gotten this whole thing about going on a Dr. Phil show. I communicated with them for a while, and then I was just like, you know what, I can't, I'm not gonna do it. That's honestly the whole story. It's not that juicy. I was just really excited because that's one of the first time that someone like really took an interest in having me on a TV show, and if they were gonna help me with my weight, I was like, heck yeah. But like I said, it fizzled out, and it just became like nothing. So to the people who wanted to see the story, I'm sure it was super just like totally awesome, wasn't it? Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.